Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my new office. It's an office slash ski working room slash walk-in closet. I'm excited to have a room dedicated to storing ski equipment, a place where I can work on my ski. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a great day to film my Q&A vlog. I did a media interview this morning, so my hair is done. Like, as a water skier, having dried hair that's like styled feels like such a luxury. So, so you guys submitted some questions a few weeks ago on Instagram for this Q&A. This is because I feel like sometimes with Instagram stories, I can share like little tidbits, but I can't always share like the full answer that I would like to and like really talk through. You get some really good questions. Let's get started. Okay, so one of the questions, how do you guys handle your day jobs and all of your skiing? Our kind of like day-to-day routine is something it's taken us a while to get dialed in. Stevie and I both work full-time jobs, we both ski, and we both do CrossFit. Kind of from the minute we wake up till we go to bed, we have like a lot we're trying to get in one day. We usually wake up between 5:45 and 6:30, do breakfast, pack the car. We like to go ski first in the morning. We both do 2 sets each, be available for our first team meeting that we have. I have a team meeting every morning, he doesn't always, to really kick off like the work day. Work until 4:35, just depending like on our workload. The beauty of the jobs that we both have. I am a marketing copywriter. I'm production based. He works in music licensing. We kind of just have a certain amount of tasks that we need to do in a day, kind of like anybody else, but it's not as time bound as other jobs can be. If I get all my writing pieces produced and to the project managers before the deadline, that's what the expectation is for me. We both tend to kind of like work through lunch actually. Then we get ready for the gym. We both get to the gym around, I don't know, I would say like 5:30, 6 o'clock. Train for an hour, hour 15. By the time we get home, shower, do dinner, all of that, it's usually like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Pretty exhausted. So then it's like just kind of some basic like chores, getting ready for the next day. Watch like a little Netflix together, and then we go to bed because we're pretty tired. It has taken us some work to figure out how to get everything we want to do done in a day without feeling like constantly stressed and overwhelmed. It's just like anything else, it just takes a little bit of trial and error. So at my job, a lot of our team do a sport or something kind of like adventurous and out of the norm on top of working in marketing and advertising. So they're very aware of my skiing and what I'm doing, and as long as I, meet my expectations and meet my goals, and I'm there to support everybody else on the team when they need me, it's really been a non-issue for me so far, and I've just been super grateful for the opportunity because I actually like enjoy the work that I do. Like, I've always really liked writing, and I, just have an interest in marketing and advertising, so to get to write in that environment has been really fun for me. And they're really cool people. They're really smart, and they're really supportive. That's been so much like value added to my life. And it means I get to ski in the morning and I get to do CrossFit at night. So it was a really great change for me professionally. Back in June of last year, I think it was June or July, when I started at Titus. But yeah, that's kind of what a day looks like for us. It wasn't always that way. You get into a groove once you find what you like and what's good for you. Kind of little room for error during the day. Like, we're just always going until it's time for bed, till it's dark out. The tour has a European leg this year. Don't you want to go to all of those stops? I'm really excited to see how many stops have been added to the Pro Tour in Europe. I think that's a huge step forward for water skiing. I would love to go. I just unfortunately don't really know how to make that work necessarily because of the time zone change. I would not be able to participate in any meetings with our clients for work. Well, I could, but I would just be up at different hours and it would make skiing hard. So then really, like, what would be the point of going? Like, feeling like I'm giving half of my best to 2 things. I would love to go, and I just can't afford to take that many weeks off of work to go ski all those tournaments, and I don't think Stevie has plans to either. Yeah, it's just not in the cards for us this season. Down the road, we'd like to explore how to make that possible. It's just that for both of us, our work is very relevant to the Eastern time zone. We're kind of bound by that. I'm not complaining by any means. It's just kind of a reality of this is how it is. It's not because I don't want to and not because I don't want to support the tour. The more of us that show up, the more support we're lending each other. I just don't know how to make it work right now. We just haven't been able to find a way yet, and we've talked about it a lot. We've been talking about it since November. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Do you get paid to do social media? Yeah, so actually one of my goals at the beginning of this year that I set for myself was that I would not do any collaborations in 2022 that were not paid. And that was a very new learning curve for me because I'd never done paid social media content before. That being said, I've said no to more brands than I've said yes to because I didn't want my feed to become just all sponsored content, and I didn't want it to become diluted with collaborations that I didn't necessarily believe in. So all the partnerships I've done so far this year have been brands I was excited about. You know, the brand researched me really well. They knew something about water skiing before they came to me. I researched them. I felt like there was something about the brand or the product or the service that my followers could actually benefit from. So it's been a really fun learning curve because I didn't know how all of that paid social media stuff worked. And I've met some really cool people and learned a lot in the process. Trying to be really picky about my partnerships so that I'm only making content that I think you guys would enjoy, if that makes sense. What does practice look like leading up to a big tournament? Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you could go with this. So obviously we like to do a lot of skiing where we run just right down the line to get like an off the dock score, because we need to know like a baseline of what we're capable of. But you know, then there's other things that we'll do. We'll create simulations, you know, like head-to-head format. We'll be at the end of the lake and somebody in the boat will say, okay, you're in a head-to-head with so-and-so, they just scored this, you need to get this. We will ski in adverse conditions very intentionally. Wind, rollers, rain, because you just never know what you're gonna get at an event, and you don't wanna show up to an event and be surprised. And skiing in all that adversity does not mean you're guaranteed a better result in the tournament. It just means you're a little less overwhelmed with the adversity. There's a huge temptation when you're getting ready for tournaments, and I see people do this. They start skiing less and less and less to conserve energy because they think that they wanna feel strong on the day of the tournament. So like from Monday to Friday, they'll like taper, and then come Saturday, if it's a 3-round tournament, the 3 rounds kick their ass and they're exhausted. And I'm just really never been a fan of over tapering right up to your biggest event, because I personally like feeling experienced going into an event. I like feeling like I've had a lot of time on the water, I'm well prepared, I'm as trained as I can be. So it's not about overtraining, that's not what I'm saying, but I don't like this whole slowly cutting back their skiing and cutting it back to the point where like one set just wipes them out. That doesn't really make sense to me. And I know everybody's different, but I just have never been able to get my head around that. So I like to ski with a lot of volume leading up to an event. If I have to taper anything because of fatigue, I'll taper the gym. I'm not competing in the gym. That's not my sport. Like, while I like CrossFit, like for fun, it's just not what I'm competing in this summer. So, you know, tapering there a little bit makes sense, but also I feel like we have to be careful, because if you over taper in the gym, once again, you're losing some of that fitness. So in the few weeks leading up to the tournament, you really have to assess your strengths and weaknesses, and come up with a strategy for how you're going to approach, you know, really doubling down on the strengths. And then what can we do to mitigate the weaknesses in the meantime? And then how can I prepare for the event that I'm going to? What do I know about it? Is it going to be guaranteed rolly? Is it probably going to be windy? Is it going to be colder than what I'm used to? Is it going to be warmer than what I'm used to? Is it going to be drier than what I'm used to? So, you know, things like that is how we prepare for tournaments. Then there's other things like what rope we know that they're going to use. Might as well train off of that rope and practice. If one of the tournament drivers is going to be a driver that we have within close proximity to us, might as well get a few sets behind them. So, you know, like little things like that we take into consideration, and it's always a moving target. Getting ready for Mastercraft Pro, better get a few sets behind a Mastercraft. Getting ready for Malibu Open, better ski behind a Malibu a little bit. So we do change up the strategy for every event, and it's very intentional. Even if it's 4 passes, take the set. Take the set. Always take the set. What do we got? Biggest pet peeve in water skiing. I don't really have any like pet peeves. I feel like that's a really definitive statement. One of the more weird things that happened to me was I did some boat judging, and then right after the group that I boat judged, I had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 skiers, and then I had to ski. It's like right when I got out of the boat, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go like stretch out a little bit, drink some water, I gotta change, and then I have to go ski. I was checking my fin on the back of somebody's tailgate, I don't remember who. Somebody came up and grabbed the fin and like yanked on it and was like, there, I made your fin adjustment for you. And I was just like, I am up in like 2 skiers and you just touched my equipment. Like, that's so weird. And they meant it very playfully and they were just trying to be silly. Thankfully I had all the screws tightened down so it didn't move, but like, that's like weird to me. Like, I feel like that's just a little bit weird. Like, if somebody's getting ready to ski in a tournament, like, don't touch their equipment. I don't know. Somebody tell me if like I'm wrong in thinking that's weird, but I would never do that to anybody personally. But other than that, I don't really have any major pet peeves. I have one pet peeve. So, I ski on a whisper fin. I feel like most people know that. I really like the whisper fin. I think it's a really cool tool. As far as I know, I'm one of the best skiers in the world with a whisper fin. I don't know of anybody who skis as frequently as me in as many tournaments as me with the same scores as me on a whisper fin. That person might exist, I just don't know about them. So if there is somebody, please tell me. I probably should be friends with them. I know a lot about whisper fins. I've been skiing on one for several years now. I've tried other versions of it. I know a lot about it. People will ask me, like somebody will come to me and ask me and be like, hey, what do you think about the whisper fin? Or what do you like about the whisper fin? Or I skied the whisper fin and I don't think I had the numbers right. Like, they ask me a question. And then as I start to answer them, they talk over me and tell me how whisper fins work and why they didn't like it and how I should change mine, like my numbers. And I'm always like, oh, this is interesting. So I say, well, how many sets did you ski on it? I kid you not. The answer is usually 1 set. Yeah, pet peeve, when people come to me, ask me a question about the whisper fin, talk over me, and then tell me what I'm doing wrong, and they've only skied on it like 1 set. Sometimes they'll say 2 sets, but usually they say I skied on it 1 set. Okay. Don't ask somebody their opinion about something and then talk over them and tell them how to feel about it. Just don't ask their opinion. Just say, can I tell you how I feel about this? That's just rude. That goes for anything, not just whisper fins. That goes for anything. My mom taught me that when I was like 5. Okay, next question. Now, this question is a longer question. I'm gonna kind of summarize. And I feel like it's a really important talking point. And the general gist of what they were asking is, how do you cope with when, as she put it, life is a little more die and a little less ski? So when other things in your life take priority over skiing and you don't feel not necessarily like less part of the ski community or any less a skier, but it's just a different order of priorities than what you're used to, and you know that reshuffling those priorities is good for you at the time. Not because there's anything wrong with skiing, but because of some of the other things that changed were leveling up in your life. And I think that's a very good point that I think maybe more people struggle with than what we're even aware. Like, we don't really have a dialogue around this. After college, career placement can take you anywhere in the country. I mean, it could take you anywhere in the world, depending on what you want to do, and will greatly impact your ability and accessibility to skiing. And if you really consider yourself a skier and you love that community, that can be a very heartbreaking decision to make. What I know is there have been a lot of people before us and there will be a lot of people after us who maybe take a break from skiing, not because there's anything wrong with skiing, but because they're pursuing another goal, whether it be a career goal or a family goal, or another hobby or interest or love of theirs. They come back to skiing at some point. I don't think that going through a period where you are less involved in skiing because it's the right thing to do, or it's the responsible thing to do, or it's just what you want to do, makes you any less of a skier by any means. Taking the time to go and explore other things for yourself only makes you more multifaceted and more well-rounded as a person. And you will bring all of that value back to the sport of water skiing. If anything, water skiing should be grateful to have you and the fact that you're going and doing what you need to do that's right for you. Because when you come back, skiing will always be here for you. It is a community at the end of the day. You will find your people. It'll be a lot of the same people you already knew, but there will be other people you've never met before. You will have a new perspective on life because you've had new experiences. You know, I felt like I struggled with that decision in my own way. For me, I turned down certain career opportunities because I knew that the career opportunity alone was not going to be fulfilling enough and I would always regret it. And it wouldn't have been possible to train and ski, but that was the decision that was right for me. And nobody really knows until you're presented with those opportunities and have to make those decisions. And you know, the cool thing is in life, it's not binary. It's not there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. There's two options. Both are probably right for you. You just have to go with the one that feels more right. It really just takes a lot of the pressure off to feel like this is going to make or break my life. And there will always be a way for you to reignite your involvement, get more involved, or be less involved, like whatever you deem you need in your life. But you know, you should never get all of your fulfillment from one thing, in my opinion. I think that getting fulfillment from a variety of things, and when it's combined, you feel very fulfilled, is more sustainable emotionally. Because if you do throw all of your fulfillment behind just one area of your life, if that doesn't work out or you have a bad day, it will feel devastating. And you know, the beauty of having multiple interests and multiple goals or passions or hobbies is that you can change how you weight your fulfillment in those different areas as time goes on. And so maybe down the road, skiing will get a bigger weight in the breakdown of how you get fulfillment in your life, but you have complete control over that. And so I hope that you find a lot of peace in knowing that you're making the right decision for you now, and that you need to trust yourself that you will make multiple right decisions for yourself down the road. Skiing will always be a part of that in whatever way you deem fit and in whatever way skiing can serve you. I think that you should not have any reservations at all about doing something different for a while, because it's actually the healthier thing to do is to have that variety. How do you get back to being motivated after a disappointment when it comes to goals? Obviously, nobody likes dealing with a failure, with disappointment. It really never comes easy. I think there are a few special people in the world who really thrive like on failure because it pushes them to hustle in a really special way. I go through phases where I definitely feel like that. And you know, usually that's when I'm really excited about the learning curve and the process and what can I learn. When I was a kid, my mom used to say like frustration is the brink of genius. You know, nobody ever discovered or invented anything new because they were comfortable and complacent. I try to frame up disappointments as probably the moment I'm about to figure out something new for myself or something new that can help somebody else. When you're feeling disappointed or you're feeling frustrated, one of the best things you can do for yourself is, first and foremost, figure out how to make things, whatever the thing is, whether it's skiing or the gym or work or your relationship, figure out how to have fun again, because it's so much easier to figure out how to fix something when you're having fun. Nobody wants to be pissed off and miserable and have to figure out how to fix the problem. It's a lot of negative and it's a lot of emotional strain to put on yourself. So, you know, if you're feeling stuck or you're feeling disappointed, go take a few sets and just enjoy the fact that you're skiing. Look for the part of skiing that is fun for you. I mean, as a water skier, I think the most fun part for me is knowing how much angle I can take out of the buoy and where I can put that ski under the line. Whenever I'm feeling a little frustrated or a little stuck, I go take some sets and do that fun part really, really well. You know, kind of remind myself of how cool the whole skiing thing is to begin with. And then once you get your head right, then you can figure out anything. You can overcome anything. But you have to get back to that place of, this is fun. I am grateful to be here. This is so cool and unique and different. And you know what? I am smart enough to figure this out. I do have the resources I need. I don't have the answers now, but I will find them. Everything is explainable. It's logical. It's data. It's numbers. It's physics. Like, I can do this. It's all much easier when you're coming from a place of having fun first. And like I said, it is obviously rich coming from somebody when they're in a good place to say all of that, but it's a skill you have to train in yourself, is the ability to put yourself back in this mindset when your mindset is in the toilet, so that you spend less time in the toilet and, you know, back to the place of, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I failed. I don't know why I'm dealing with the disappointment, but I'm going to figure out how to avoid that or mitigate it to some degree in the future. Being able to shift your mindset like that is a skill like anything else. So you have to exercise the shift when you have the opportunity. And failures are the opportunity to exercise it.